Look behind you.
Yeah, Franklin probably behind it. But
No, Dave, look behind you. There's a ghost.
Oh! Hey! Get down! Get go! Down! Got him! Son, I got him! I'm gonna shoot him! I'm gonna shoot him! We are talking Ghoul Catchers. This is a super low budget found footage horror comedy movie directed by Thomas Finn and Joseph Voss, who also co-wrote this. The budget for this one, a little over $1,000. So we are talking micro budget filmmaking here. So this focuses on a group of amateur ghost hunters as they are trying to find evidence of the supernatural, and of course their initial attempts are somewhat fruitless, just finding, creaky floorboards, things like that, until they one day decide they're going to go into this haunted, apparently abandoned asylum. And of course things might not be as abandoned as you might think. Interestingly, the movie actually has two distinct halves. It doesn't follow a three-act structure. It has literally two halves. The first half being the found footage foray into the haunted asylum. The second half, nothing to do with that, and is more about these guys faking each other's deaths for reasons. And yeah, so let's talk about the first half, really, first of all, which is the one that is kind of has a more of a story element to it. Again, it's very low budget. There are some ghostly effects. However, you may think, I've seen those effects somewhere before. And you'll be right. And you'll be thinking, those look suspiciously like the same scenes from Grave Encountered, which have been photoshopped onto this film. And that's literally what they've done. So, yeah, there you go. So, plagiarism at its finest here. So, the first half, as I say, the movie is the kind of the only one with a real sort of story arc to it, I suppose. It's a fairly standard kind of story that you'll go into this. The emphasis here is very much on the comedy, the kind of the interaction between the kind of our characters. And then the second half of the movie, as I say, seems so pointless. It's just these guys keep pretending that they are faking each other's deaths to try and get one over on the other guys. It seems completely disconnected to the first half of the movie, to be honest with you, and really has no point to it. What works? Okay, I think our main for $1,000 budget movie, I gotta say I didn't think acting was too bad, if I'm honest. I have seen worse acting for higher budget, films. So obviously these aren't clearly professional actors here, and I thought our main guy actually had some quite good comic timing. I think his character was Dave. I actually think he actually was fairly strong, believe it or not. So I actually quite enjoyed his kind of character work there. And some of the other ones didn't fare too bad, considering as well. I didn't think that. And I think they do a good job of approximating this kind of haunted asylum. And there are a couple of amusing jokes. But really, it feels like this should have been a skit or a short, rather than a kind of a full-length feature, because it runs out of steam really quickly. And for example, they'll really stretch out the jokes. Like, for example, there's one joke where we have a guy who is farting all the time, and other people are thinking it's sulphur smelling the ghosts, and it just goes on and on and on. And things like this, and we have this a character who's like the dumb character called Francis, and it's just like, you're playing so dumb, it's just annoying. It's not realistic like a human would act. And then the second half, like I say, is completely pointless. It's just these guys. One guy's getting interviewed by the police, and like he's kind of telling the story, and it's been about these guys are kind of pretending each other are dead for trying to get back at each other. It's just completely pointless. It doesn't have any point to it. So it almost feels like these are two shorts that people are playing the same characters put together in one kind of like quote unquote feature-length movie. So the second half was a complete write-off. Was almost torturous to sit through, if I'm honest with you, because those jokes for me weren't funny. This first half had a couple of somewhat amusing moments, certainly where they're referencing the paranormal, paranormal movies, things like that. There are a couple of the, light giggles here and there, and at least it had somewhat of a narrative to it. And I quite liked some of the way the characters were, but even so, it's still pretty weak source, really. I mean, the story is nothing new, but it's meant to be, the focus is on the jokes, and it only worked to a certain point. This would have been great had it have been 20-minute short in an anthology. I think that would have worked and it would have been perfect for it. But as a feature-length film, it is weak source, unfortunately. I guess there's only so much you could do with a $1,000 budget. Found footage is certainly the way to go, but I think you need to have a little bit more to it, a little bit more, story within that kind of movie that's not going to cost you a lot of money, and I think they had the base of some good characters, but there was not enough there. There was not enough kind of going on, and then, like I said, it felt very discombobulated, having these kind of two halves of the film which seem so very loosely connected. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.